You need to put yourself in the next Avatar film.
Bearded Na'vis. There aren't too many bearded Na'vi.
I think you should maybe do a cameo in the next one.
How do you know I haven't?
I'm in this place where I have nothing. Not my people, not my forest. Even my father's bow is gone. All I have is my faith.
I was thinking about it this morning, and I feel like from the first film, Neytiri has always been the moral compass. Like, I look to see how she's reacting to know how to feel about a scene, and her depth has always come through. And in this one, her moral compass, you're almost questioning because she's got so much anger in her heart. I feel that coming from you right now.
She was breaking my heart just to experience the level of pain that she was in, but to also live in her skin while she was filled with so much hate. It's almost as if, in Fire and Ash, Neytiri is a full-blown racist. She's just so triggered by loss and despair that she's just a shell of herself. It gives way for a beautiful arc for her because she has to basically go through hitting rock bottom to come all the way back to reconnecting with who she truly is. Neytiri feels everything through her senses, through her heart, whereas Jake, he's the brains and he has to be that jarhead that thinks about everything ahead of time. But Neytiri's in the moment, and where she's at in that very moment, she's lost.
Yeah.
And almost unrecognizable to Jake. And though it was heartbreaking and complex and very challenging, as an actor, it was so, awesome to be able to, just dig so deep for that.
And then you get to express it physically in a way that you haven't with the scenes with Varangs. And I asked Oona, because I thought her physicality was incredible in this film. And she said to get into character, she was copying you in a sense. They're almost like characters that, had they each gone a different path, they're almost very similar in a way. I don't think we've seen Neytiri do the hand-to-hand sort of physically fighting in combat. So for you as an actress, expressing all that rage physically,
it's incredible. Neytiri is almost like a Terminator. She will not stop until her body just stops basically communicating with her. And you're able to see that in a few of the scenes after she's met Varang for the very first time, and she's been targeted by the wrath of Varang.
Yeah.
And Neytiri is a Sahik that relinquished her position. She is the daughter of a Sahik and she did not want to be a Sahik. So the kind of chutzpah that Neytiri has, you see it in Ronal. And you definitely see it in Varang. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to Jim that he was able to still give Neytiri that much strength and just endurance.
One thing that's really beautiful is even with speaking with all of you, James doesn't just cast great actors, he casts great people.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm just wondering for you in your career right now, congratulations once again on your Oscar.
Thank
just
you.
Sort of how you feel at this very moment in your career and sort of looking back and looking forward.
I mean, sometimes I'm able to answer that with so much eloquence, and other times I'm just able to take that in and figure it out later. It is sometimes out of body. It was a dream that I stopped having for myself, and
really?
And it didn't take away my happiness. I was still very happy and very grateful for the path that I've been able to cover, thanks to opportunities like Avatar and James Cameron and Guardians and even Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, every role I've ever performed has given me the ability to learn and reach a milestone. I am very grateful because I love what I do. So to be celebrated and validated by communities of people that I truly, truly admire just feels really great.
When you infuse sort of the audience reaction, because I go into a dreamlike state when I watch these films.
It's deeply moving when you watch it with an audience. I have to be ready for that. Sometimes I'm too vulnerable. Sometimes I'm too dysregulated to be able to take it in. Last night, I was definitely present and I was so excited. It feeds you. It nurtures you in a very good way. You're getting to share finally something that is so special and meaningful for you with the world. And when the world takes it in with the same kind of deep magnitude that you're receiving, it makes me feel connected to so many people.
You want to take on Awa? You need me.
I see you.
Good to see you all. I just interviewed you about a month ago, all together for this film. I rest my case. I told you you were underrated as a comedic actor, and you were holding out on me because this movie, there are so many one-liners.
Fine.
I mean,
Move over, Adam Sandler, jet lag. I'm coming.
have you been cast as the lead in a comedic film due to that?
It'll never happen. It's never going to happen. No.
But I feel like Quaritch is kind of either reliving or living his teenage years in this film. You know, like he's doing some bad things.
He's finding himself.
He is.
Because he lost himself.
How delightful was that for you?
It's great fun to play,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's a great challenge to play as well, you know, particularly when you're doing it under tutelage, the scrutiny and the involvement of Jim Cameron, because he's so invested in every character, and certainly he's invested in Quaritch and everything. So everything has implications.
We knew he was a genius, but adding that element to this film takes him to another level of genius. Bonnie and Clyde here. What is going on? What is going on? The two of you, already online, people are talking about that dynamic relationship. Talk about what you each brought out in each other in terms of the character and as actors.
Well, I can say that, you know, you're absolutely right about slaying a comedic actor because he had me in stitches every day, you know, and it's so fun. And he's such a scoundrel, and it's so fun to work with this guy. I was very, very happy to go to work every single day when I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I mean, with everybody, but you know, we got a lot of activity together. So yeah, it was just such a delight because he's also extremely serious and extremely committed to acting.
Yeah.
And very smart. Just cover your ears. I'm talking bad about you now.
He was closing his eyes. I'm like, was he falling asleep or what was going on? He's meditating.
Compliments all the time.
But yeah, I mean, it was great to go into the intensity, but also have like the levity within the place of work.
At every level, a superb actress. I mean, in terms of movement, in terms of...
I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of, I mean, based on what happens in this is kind of like a third wheel situation,
we're,
Sam.
You know, we're announcing,
Come back.
we're here to...
We'll get to you. We'll get to you.
Are you going to officiate
We're
the
here
wedding?
to announce our new half-hour sitcom. you know, Oona and the Colonel. I'm sorry, Varang and the Colonel, you know.
No, you definitely brought the sexy back. I'm going to go to you, Sam.
I'm cool.
I'm going to you, Sam. Well, I'm actually curious because in the last films, we've seen the two of you from a distance fighting each other. This time you get close up with each other.
Yeah, brought the sexy
And
back.
You did bring the sexy back. All three of you brought the sexy back. But you two have these close-up scenes. I'm wondering when you're in character and you are looking at each other, I think he's jealous.
Oh, yeah.
Or what are you feeling when you're looking at each other up close and having those
That's a very
conversations?
astute, I think, observation. Because he admires him. And sure, there's jealousy. He's adapted beautifully. And this character has come to the realization that he never understood this planet at all.
Yeah.
He was here for years trying to maintain security. He was the head of security
Yeah.
in this incredibly insecure environment. And he failed on a daily basis to keep people safe.
And so what are you feeling when you're looking at Quaritch in some of these scenes where you're trying to reason with him?
Hope that he opens his eyes. Obviously, a clear message in this one. But there's always got to be respect. These are guys that come from a certain code, no matter how much they hate each other because of what they're trying to do to each other. I think deep down they have that respect. Otherwise, it feels a bit two-dimensional. There is a deep respect and a deep reverence because they're both mission-orientated. And what that leads to is a complex case of, well, I've tried to bash it into you. That's not going to work. So I'm going to try and reason with you. I'm trying to find different ways to actually change who you are. And vice versa. He's trying to do the same.
Yeah, I think in this film more than any other, I saw their similarities more than their differences.
The great thing about what Jim's done is that the story's kind of inverted. So in the first one, he's warning me about the forest and Pandora and what it can do to you, and don't get lost in it. And in this one, I'm warning him about Pandora too, because I'm trying to tell him it's the positive version of it. You know, don't get lost in the woods, but it's okay if you do.
Well, he does get lost in the woods. Let's just say that. I need to just tell you, your performance, your physicality is extraordinary.
Thank you.
And I know James bragged about it. But can you describe, as you were creating her, is there an animal you thought about? Like, sort of, how did you, because this tribe is very different, and you see in this film how they move differently. Can you describe that and how you created that?
Their environment was singed and covered in ash, and life died there. And so their home is very different. So they have to learn how to move differently. They're not climbing trees because there's no trees left. So how do they move? You imagine the scarring and the burning and the singeing of the flesh that they might be, and then you see all the scarifications and like pain being almost like a mark of worth, and how much you can withstand pain is a marker of your strength for them. So there's a lot of that for the ash. And then for me personally, I just studied Zoe and closed her heart. So I was like, okay, how does Zoe move? And I try and move like her. I wish. But then I just closed the heart. And then where does the center of gravity go? And it just like dropped into the, pelvis. And just like suddenly she just became like a sexy, snaky, weird, wonderful, mystical. Like I look at it and I'm like, dang, that's cool. Yeah. Like I was very surprised. I mean, it's been so long as well, but I was really proud of myself up there.
Yeah.
This world goes much deeper than you imagine.
So I chatted with you in the cast about a month ago.
Yeah.
And you had just seen a couple of scenes and you were very emotional. So I'm wondering the first time you got to see the film in its entirety, I don't know if it was at the premiere or where you saw it, but your reaction.
Yeah. Over the weekend, Jim had a small screening for just the cast, basically. And it was like the best Christmas present in the world to see it all come together and see how, the experience of seeing it is so amazing. You can't believe what you get to do. You're tearing through the air and through the water and on an Ikron, and it's so much fun, but also super scary and exhilarating. So I just think it took my breath away.
Yeah. If people don't see this movie in 3D, I don't think I can be friends with it anymore because it is so immersive. And I also watched the behind the scenes documentary, and it has never been more apparent to me. First of all, the imagination of you actors. Obviously, as actors, you have imagination because there's cameras and things around, but this is a different level. So I'm wondering for you, between working in the volume, the underwater skills you've learned, even your sense of imagination and sort of calmness, what is something that you have gained from this whole experience that you've brought into your life that's really enhanced your life?
I've never really been offered a part like Kiri, but she's very similar to what I was like at 14. I was not as cool as she is, but I just remember it was a very tender time for me, and I felt really uncomfortable. My job is to kind of revisit that and bring the reality of how I felt in that body and in that world and how I felt about myself. And I feel that all the kids are going through that because this is a time of great upheaval. And so many threats, war and invasion and, racism and all these things. It's amazing to me that he's created such a powerful 3D, really immersive experience, and that he doesn't shy away from the real themes of the movie, which our actors so brilliantly play, like Zoe and Sam. Even though they're blue, it's in some ways the most amazing portrait of a real marriage.
Yeah.
He's giving us this. And it's breathtaking.
And gave us different layers in that relationship this time around, too. Speaking of layers, we get to experience so much more of Kiri and her story and her connection and her importance to this entire story and journey in this one. Can you talk about when you were shooting the scenes for this, what you got to experience as an actress in portraying this character?
It was a difficult time for me because I felt very vulnerable as a child in this world. I wanted to take care of that person. Often the industry can be a pretty, tough world. And yet we didn't have that in this. Jim really believes in all of us. He really has created this whole system to give the actors a chance to just thrive and bloom. And so that was very positive. But because the film is intense, it's kind of dizzying, you know? My own life is much less eventful. Playing these kids is great, but it's also a lot happens to them that's painful and confusing and scary. And for Kiri especially, not knowing who her father is, her relationship with Ewa, all these things just, the French have a word called bouleversé, which is to be tumbled over. I felt that a lot of the time.
I would just love for you to describe what a time this is for you in your career between Mandalorian Grogu coming out and having all of this happen. What kind of an experience is this for you right now in this moment that you're in?
I think I'm probably enjoying it the most because it's always been very hard. I sound like such a nerd. It's always been very hard for me to take in that success thing. I'm always on to the next thing. And I have another movie coming out called Dust Bunny, a tiny little jewel of a movie with Mads Mikkelsen. I've been able, and I'm grateful too, that I've been able to keep going and just sort of be ignorant or I don't ever think about the genre. And I think that's why my career has taken me all over the place, because I only care about the story. I don't care what genre it is. Those are kind of industry things, and they don't really mean anything to me. Science fiction happens in the future. It's stories in the future, so they're still relevant. And I often think they're the most interesting.
The fire came from the mountain, burnt our forest. My people cried for help. But Ewa did not come.
This was beyond another level of even what I came to expect of Avatar. So
Great.
congratulations.
Good. That's what we're going for.
I interviewed you about a couple months ago, but I ran into you at the exhibit.
That's right.
We were under this weird light and you were actually blue.
I
have
was glowing, yeah.
I've seen you as a Na'vi.
Yeah.
You need to put yourself in the next Avatar film.
Bearded Na'vis. There aren't too many bearded Na'vi.
I think you should maybe do a cameo in the next one.
How do you know I haven't?
Have you?
No. I do little voice bits here and there
Yeah.
on the military comms, things like that.
I thought you were going to reveal to me today that you were playing a character all along.
That'd be cool though, right?
It would be very cool. I mean, 4 and 5, there's always time.
Plenty of time.
I think what people didn't realize when they heard the word fire in the title, obviously there's a fire element of it, but it's a double entendre because you brought sexy back in this film. There is some heat and some relationships.
And fire is a young demo slang for being cool.
And for being very cool. So you did all of that.
Yeah, I showed some of the stuff to Billie Eilish a few months ago in 3D, and she said, fire.
Oh my gosh. If you get a fire,
Title.
if you get a fire from Billie Eilish, you are good.
Exactly.
But without spoilers, what gave you the idea for Quaritch's character to go down an avenue I never expected him to go
Right.
down?
Well, that's keeping people engaged and interested when you're doing, I hate to use the word sequel. I prefer saga, like a new part of the saga, right? But is to be unexpected, take you where you don't think it's going to go. And I think that anybody could say that when he rocks up with Varang and she takes him inside that yurt, you did not see that coming.
I also didn't realize that he was going to either relive or live out his teenager years where he's like got a part-time job he's not that good at because he's distracted by the girl. He's like getting high, doing things like that. You know?
Almost. No, but it's also, it follows the kind of classic colonial paradigm of let's arm one tribe to fight another tribe, right? And that happened. That's U.S. history. That's colonial history throughout the Americas. And so I'm drawing from history, but I'm also fascinated by Quaritch. He's a very charismatic character, and so we do something that's pretty wild, which is we take 10 or 11 minutes out from all of the other characters in the movie just to follow him.
And he got to bring his humor and up the ante, which was great as well. I mean,
I love Stephen Lang, and I think he's playing such a fun character. He and I both enjoy it so much.
Yeah. I'm curious for you. We've never asked you this before, but when you go to the movies, what is your style? Do you have a spot in the theater that you like to sit in? Is there...
I sit close, and most people are sort of too cool for school. They sit way in the back, like they're sitting across the living room from their TV. It's like, why would you do that? You just drove down here. You paid for parking. You're in a movie theater. The screen is huge. So I sit where almost fills my field of view. So typically about a third of the way back in the house, and ideally in the center, because that's where the sound systems are focused.
What are you snacking on? Do you have a go-to?
Popcorn.
Classic.
Lots of popcorn.
Do you mix candy in it, or is that?
No. I don't do the candy thing. I'm vegan, so popcorn is a good vegan snack.
I know you watched the premiere last night with all of us.
Yeah, and a big audience made a difference in my perception of the film.
Really? So I'm curious how you infuse the reaction from people as you're sort of taking in where people are laughing, where people are gasping. And then once the film is over and the reactions start to come in, which of course are glowing and stellar, how do you infuse that? And how does that make you feel?
I felt very satisfied by the screening, and it was a little bit revelatory because there's some big laughs that are much bigger than I expected them to be. I thought, maybe a little chuckle, but now I'm starting to say, okay, analytically, that's because they're feeling so much tension because it's a white knuckling action sequence or a suspense sequence that the laugh is disproportionate. And I saw that on Aliens. Bill Paxton has some funny lines, but they're really funny in that film because you're on edge. And so I interpret that as a way of measuring that the film's actually working.
Not to disparage one or two, but they felt like appetizers compared to the spectacle, you're smiling now, and the scope and the depth. And maybe if you could sort of speak to that and sort of the grandiosity of this film, but the depth of it as well.
Exactly. So by depth, I'm assuming you mean the depth of the characters, like where it goes dramatically.
Oh, I mean,
emotionally.
We don't have enough time in the day, but like between Jake and Neytiri and the new layer of their relationship,
right, exactly.
And every character has their own depth.
Every relationship is in jeopardy. Every character is in jeopardy. People are going through things at a level they've never gone through before. It took us building a new form of cinema, in the sense, with the first Avatar and showing you this kind of waking dream state on this other planet. Okay, now I expect that. Now Avatar 2 does that, but it introduces more complexity for the family. Jake and Neytiri are now parents. They can't just go to war without getting everybody wiped out. There are a lot of constraints on them. Now, by the third film, they've had a tragic loss. Their attempt to stay out of the fight didn't work, and it cost them their eldest son. Where does that put them now? Where does that put them in terms of their conflict with the Sky People? Where does that put them in terms of the marriage, which is getting torn apart by the guilt and recrimination around that tragedy? It sounds like a soap opera, but I think it's actually good drama, great actors, good drama, and that grounds us. So we're in this phantasmagorical world, and we have plenty of that too. But I think the fact that it's just solid human to human kind of behavior and feeling. And when I say human to human, they're all not but we feel it because it's acted by humans.
We feel it when they're not even talking.
Yeah, exactly. And so, we put everybody at risk in this movie. And then just for fun, we throw the ash people into the middle of it for a little chaos.
They're coming. Kiri, come on. This way. Go. Come on. This way. Hurry. Gotta get in the water. Come on. Go.
I'm going to just start out by jumping forward because let's assume that 4 and 5 are going to happen.
Okay.
You've had to watch the last 2 films having grown up, changed so much. What's the first thing you're going to do when you go back to the volume? Is there something that you're like, oh, I want to do that this time? Or
it's more before the volume, because now we're all freediving certified. So the minute there's a call of like, we're going back in, I'm doing my breathe ups.
Yeah. Also, like not just the volume, but like the whole set, the whole experience. Yeah.
I think Avatar, partly because of the performance capture process and the liberty that gives an actor, also because of the amazing cast I got to work with, the amazing crew I got to work with, but also Jim as such a nurturing and collaborative director. There was just such an opportunity to play. Like every day was play. There were so many chances to improvise and experiment within my character and within the relationships that my character has. And I just loved that play. And I loved getting to be inspired by the people I was around every day and just like ask them how's life, because I don't really see them at all now, except for like the few days we get to share our beautiful experience on these press tours. And that's something I would be really excited for. And because of the time jump, my character will finally be my age again.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about for you?
Oh man, I love getting to the volume early because I'd love to just like hang out in the morning and have a coffee with everyone like an hour before it's even time to get makeup on, because it's like the best time is like where you all show up for work. It's the morning, we're all like hanging out, talking, and it's just that's like one of my favorite moments.
I love that you all get to have such character arcs, such beautiful moments. I think of the moment, without spoilers, where you're like, I don't want to be left alone. I think of the moment where you get to stand up for yourself and for the community. The huge arc that you got in this one. And I've always loved your physicality in this. So if you can talk about maybe watching it in the moments you're proud of.
I was really excited to see how action-packed it was. Like, I keep talking about it in every interview, but it's because I did not expect it. I love the way Jim does action movies because he really wants the actors to remember you're punching someone's face.
Yeah.
This isn't, because I feel like a lot of times in action movies, it's like, you know, good guy, bad guy, the good guy's always doing so well. And it feels like almost fake.
Yeah.
But Jim's action scenes feel so real, and that's why they're so emotional. It's like there is relationship there. There is love. There is real rage there, and we feel it.
The moment you mentioned for Tuk was a moment I really looked forward to, and a moment that inspires me, I feel like, as a viewer. And that was so much fun to film. I think, especially because it was quite a sequence. We had to film some of the stuff on land and then some of the stuff in the water, and it was this whole thing. And I just love those juicy scenes, whether they're emotionally or like action-wise juicy. I really love getting into that good stuff.
When I wrapped, I was in New Zealand and I was talking to the whole crew, and I had been with them for like 2 years at that point, and it was not just an ending of the New Zealand period, but the ending of all the filming for me. And I was just proud to say how much I'd put in. And also it was like so sad because I was saying goodbye to everyone. But I was proud of that moment. And I think everyone was just proud of all the work that we had all collectively put in.
I'm really proud of all of you. I'm just going to go random on this last question.
Yes.
But I just talk to Jim, and every time I talk to him, like, he is my hero. And I think it's going to go a certain way in my head. And then I go in there and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. He looks at me like I sprouted another head. So is there anybody that you're a celebrity encounter or somebody you guys have had an experience with?
Literally. Okay, so Jason Sudeikis, this is like 2023 January, the Critics' Choice Awards. And I was walking, and I'd just been watching Ted Lasso. So I was like so a Jason Sudeikis fan. And I was walking past him and I'm like, excuse me, are you Jason Sudeikis? And I swear he said, no, sorry. And I would like remember look back and I was like, I'm pretty sure that you're Jason Sudeikis. And he looked back and he was like, I know it's me. And I was like, no, but you and it turns out he literally, because my mom was there, she's like, no, he said, yeah, it's me. It's so embarrassing. And then if he was joking and he was like pulling my leg, then I also fully didn't get the joke. So either way, I just it was horrible. That way.
Oh my gosh. Like, seeing Zoe on set for the first time, I ran into my trailer. So the first time I saw her, I didn't say hi. Yes. I was just like, this is Gamora. Yes. So excited. And then I was just like, I just peered through my trailer window and just watched her walk by. I'm like, that's Zoe.
Yeah.
Definitely. I had a moment last night. I met a huge inspiration in my life, and especially just a music role model for me. Billie Eilish came to the premiere, and even just thinking about it makes me giddy. I found out from Jamie Landau that Billie would be there. I got my tears gone ahead of time. And then she was there, and just seeing her face kind of made me freak out. But I knew I would not be able to say all that I wanted to say and how much she means to me, just like you were saying, like when it all starts to go blah, blah, blah. So I wrote a letter, a 2-page letter on the 4 Seasons parchment paper, just because I needed to get it out and tell her how awesome she is. Yeah, I'm just literally a love bombing fangirl, but that's okay.